Diane, Carlos, Bill, my fellow awardees, Milt and Mike, I thank you so much for this honor. You know, in reflecting upon my days at CSUN, there's a lot of images, and I'd like to share with you just a few. Imagine it's a summer day in Woodland Hills, California. It's a few days after my graduation in 1980, and my dad's up on a ladder repairing, I think it was the gutters, and I am down below handling tools and parts and whatever, and we're talking life, because as we all know, that's how fathers and daughters talk. It's watching baseball or doing work together. And I didn't have a job at the moment. So Dad sort of says to me, "What did you learn at CSUN?" And after thinking about it for a few seconds, I said, "I think I learned how to attack a problem." And Dad said, "Well, if that's what you learned, you'll be fine." This is very evident from one of my professors, Dr. Henry Abrash, who is here with us tonight, and you saw in the video, because I learned how to attack a problem from Henry. In organic synthesis, you start with an A and want to go to a B, and there's processes in between. So the whole idea of systems engineering or understanding the points that you need to go from, I learned from Henry. I learned from CSUN. Let me give you another image. It's my senior year at CSUN, and I'm in an upper-level political science class, and I am acing the tests. Now, the political science majors aren't too happy about this upstart who's sort of screwing the curve. And one day, one of them stands up and begins to vent his frustration, saying that a political science major is so much harder than a chemistry major because you have to think and you have to defend, and there's no right answer, and chemistry is just, well, it's memorizing formulas, and there's always a right answer. And I am there, and Dr. Robert Horn, who I took many political science classes from, who unfortunately passed away in 2002 at the young age of 59 from ALS, says, "Pat, would you like to say something?" And for those of you that know me, not only did I want to say something, I did in spades. Dr. Robert Horn also wrote one of my references for business school, which I am eternally grateful for. And as you heard, I happened to be in Indonesia between 1996 and 98. Or for those of you that are in finance, we had a slight currency crisis at that time. So instead of slight, as Bill says, so instead of doing project finance, which is why I was sent to Southeast Asia, I became sort of the financial competitive intelligence person, talking to the World Bank and commercial banks and the Exim Bank to try and understand what was going on. And what I learned in Dr. Horn's many classes so helped me distill this information and be able to communicate the political and financial reality that I was living through. P.S. Leaving a country when you're evacuated during a coup is not the way to leave a country. It's a good experience, but I wouldn't suggest it. Where did I get this love of education and knowledge and wanting to do better. My parents. My dad grew up in Brooklyn during the Depression, was fortunate enough to go to Brooklyn Tech, got into MIT, but coming from a family who couldn't afford college, entered the Army as a private. Dad continued his career in the Army and actually was awarded a commission as an officer, but his commanding officer kept saying, "Jim, you gotta go to college. You gotta get an education." So Dad gave up his commission, sat the test for West Point as a master sergeant, and in the summer of 1948, entered West Point. He was a member of the class of 1952, and I am very proud to say that next month, Dad and his classmates will celebrate their 65th reunion from West Point. And Dad had 5 girls and then had his boy, so we talk about STEM. I didn't know it was called STEM then, but Dad was like, okay, you need to take science and math and engineering, and boy, he was really helpful when I had, homework problems. And Mom graduated high school at 16 and went right to work. And to this day, I will say she is the most educated person that I know. My mom, as an Army wife, moved over 30 times in 65 years of marriage. And the greatest thing about her is that she can talk to the Vons grocer or a 3-star general and make them both feel that they're the most important person in the world. In reflecting upon what is education, I decided I'll Google it. I mean, isn't that what we do these days? And it said that education is the process by which we gather knowledge. It's the process by which we develop our reasoning and judgment. But most important, it's the process by which we prepare ourselves for a mature life. CSUN took what my parents had birthed and gave it so much more and engendered that so that an education at CSUN launched me, well, into the stars, because I do work on satellites. Before I close, I'd like to acknowledge a few people that are here with me tonight. Sister Judy Dieterle, who is the provincial for the Sisters of St. Louis, who I went to Louisville High School in Woodland Hills before I went to CSUN. And an education of an all-woman high school, man. I took physics, chemistry, and I wasn't the weird kid, I was just one of the gang. And speaking of gang, there is a group of people here, you saw 2 of them, Linda and Willie, who is my gang. For the past 45 years, they've been with me, and I would not be here if not for them. My uncle and godfather, who came all the way from Florida because he's my godfather, and of course he had to be here. So thank you, Paul. And last, but certainly first, to him be the glory. Thank you.